Hello there, it's me, Sari here again, and today I'm here with my first attempt making some items with casting resin and a couple of molds. And what I did first was, and what you need to do actually basically is, this comes with these two bottles, these 3 mixing cups and a couple of lollipop sticks or ice cream sticks. And what you need to do is just to take the same amount of liquid in separate glasses, and then you're going to pour both of these into the third one, and then you're going to mix it for 40 seconds, and then you're going to pour it into the mold as it is. And I just started off with 10 millimeters in each because I didn't really know how far it would stretch, and it actually covered all of this. And I do believe that I didn't stir it long enough because it did take more than 10 minutes for it to cure. But I just let it sit here, and I came back now, and it sort of feels, it isn't too sticky actually. I mean, they say that if it feels sticky in parts, then you haven't mixed it properly, and if it and you might have sort of have had a difference in the amount of liquid. But I thought I'd just give you my first experience live here, and you know, this is looking really fabulous, I must say. Look at the nice texture, and I'm thinking that if you do this properly, and it feels solid, it does really feel nice, and if you do it properly, I'm sure, I mean, it's going to decrease the time that you need to use if you're going to use, let's say, paper clay or something. That it's going to take the good part of 24 hours to dry. And this is really nice figures. So we have this small mold, I think it's called Fairy Garden or something, from Finnabair and Priva Marketing, and I've got a flower there. So I thought I'd just take these and take them out, and as you can see, I did have a little bit of excess here, but it's fairly easy to get rid of it, and you could sand off the rest if you want to, just use some scissors or something. And depending on how you're going to use this, you could of course, I mean, if it's going to be hidden in a mixed media project, perhaps you don't even have to trim these that well, because I'm sure you can hide them somehow in that project as it is. So let's see, I'm just going to take these out, and I thought I'd give another stir just for you to see how I made it work. So I'm quite happy. Oh, look at the depth of that one. I'm sort of happy that I actually did manage to get this. This one is a little bit, you know, this one isn't proper, so that one goes to somewhere else. And here comes the final one. So not bad for not having stirred everything correctly. So I must say this is a fun product to use, and first and foremost, it's quicker. There is something called mold release if you're having problems getting your items out of the mold, but in this case I don't really see any problems whatsoever. So I thought I'd go ahead and make a couple of stars perhaps. And what you need to pay attention to, well, what I did was I just marked the different cups with different colours. So I think that this one is the blender cup with both of them. And then I put a blue cross on both of these, so I know that this one has had that kind of bit in there. And then I'm leaving this one just as it is. So let's see. I need to, I mean, you don't need to shake this or anything, you just pour. And I'm thinking that the 10 millimeter thing was pretty good, and I'm not sure if you can see this properly. You can see it pretty well, I'm sure. So I'm going to go up to the 10, and I need to keep it straight, so there we are. And as long as I haven't mixed it, I don't need to rush it that much. But having blended or put them in the same cup, then I have to rush it, because I don't have more than, let's say, 40 seconds to mix it, and then I have, let's say, a minute to pour the thing out into the mold. So you have you work with smaller things, I think, unless you have come up with a really good technique that helps you make it work. So I'm just going to concentrate on this bit, because I think that It's equivalent almost to that size. So I'm going to make a couple of stars here. I might make a moon as well. So I have this stick and I have cleaned it off with a bit of baby wipe, so it's not going to be too sticky now. But I must say that one feels really sticky, so I'm just going to throw it away. So now I'm going to pour both of these into this jar. And the package says just scrape everything out of those, but I'm not going to be bothered about that. And I'm just going to do a stirring, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It does look rather clear, so I'm hoping I can do it now. So the trick is to just find the way to pour, and you know, it's going to be a little bit messy. I can't help it, it seems like. I would love to have something with a tip, a nozzle or something, just to make it work. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to make this moon come to life. And perhaps a small star. And what I did, since I didn't mix everything well together the first time, I actually scraped some of the excess liquid into another shape. So that's how I actually managed to cover almost everything, and that's why it got so sticky. But as you can see, it's not going to be that much of a hassle cleaning it. So I'm hoping I'll be able to make a face, a moon face with this. And the package also says something about preheating the mold in order to get a really good result. So that might be something you could take into consideration, working with a microwave oven and so before, not after. You should never do anything after, it says, just before. So I'm just going to do a bit of scraping as long as I can. And let's see if I can fill anything else up. I think I do have. I don't have enough excess here, so I just have to make it work with what I've got. It's a bit messy, I must say, because I haven't got let's say, I haven't got the skills for this yet. But I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it now as it is, and I'm going to do a bit of cleaning. And it did take more than, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes for it to cure. I actually left it here, let's say, for half an hour. Oh my goodness, now broke this stick. So perhaps one could use a spatula or something if one feels like it. And I'm going to take a baby wipe and just clean off these cups as well in the meanwhile. And I think I'll just pause until, you know, it starts there. It's getting started there. So it's always fun to see when it's getting started. So I'm just going to keep you here. It's a live shoot, sort of. And you should really avoid getting your fingers in your face and everything now, especially in your eyes. So just make sure that you're cleaning up your fingers and cups and everything. And surfaces. And now I actually wiped off the X there as well, so I just have to redo it. Or perhaps I could go for different coloured cups if I sort of start fancying this method. I could have yellow cups and, let's say, blue and pink and something like that. So this is looking much better now actually, because it has started curing. Come to think of the band, the British band The Cure. So what I could do in the meanwhile, of course, perhaps, is just to show you how you could continue working with this. I'm just going to wipe off my fingers here. Because what you could do in order to just get some colour on these, I mean, you could paint these with gesso perhaps, or some kind of a primer. Or you could just start brushing on top of these immediately with some wax perhaps. And with a brush, let's see if I can find my things here. I'll have to look further, I see. Where have I put them? I've done some reorganizing here and it seems like I've misplaced some of the things. You know, here they are. Right in front of me. So let's see if I can make something out of this. It does feel a little bit sticky, so this is the proof of me not having stirred it properly and everything. And I'm hoping I'll be getting a better result there. But if I were to paint it with white gesso first, just to have some a nice surface to it, I think I'll just pick up some with a brush. I haven't got a proper gesso brush now, have I? Could I go for some? I'm just thinking aloud here. I think I'm just going to get myself a brush. I think I'll just try this one. And I'm just going to take a little bit here and I'm going to paint a thin coat of gesso on top of this one, just to see what happens. And of course I could have gone for black gesso or perhaps even black acrylic paint. But one good thing about gesso, of course, is that it dries fairly quickly. I think I could do the wing as well. While I'm waiting for those there. You can watch them on the side there. And then we can see about the time. I'm sorry I can't see the time while I'm shooting this. I can see it afterwards. And in this, I'm not going to go into the crevices and such, just to just to see the difference when I'm, my goodness, when I'm going to add on some waxes, just to see the difference in the gessoed surface and the not gessoed surface. And I managed to squeeze this one just as I was closing it. I mean, it's just so typical, isn't it? Now, I thought I'd speed up the process a little bit, and I do need a cutting board or something, so I'm just going to take I'm not even sure if it's called a cutting board in Swedish. I'm just translating it quickly now. So I'm going to take these two, put them on this wooden platter, and I'm just going to dry it. So now you can actually see the patterns really well, can't you? Really nice looking. Do I dare to go there? I'm not sure. I think I'll just wipe off the brush, the excess, just so at least. So let's see. I mean, this one, they are actually ready. I'm going to leave them there, but they are ready now. So I'm going to go for some. I do have a couple of waxes here. What colors could I go for? I haven't got anything that is sort of purple, but I could go for the peacock. It's a popular color. I'm going to sneeze there as well. I've been having a cold this weekend, so it's the leftovers of that one. So I'm just going to take a brush. I found this in a sort of a makeup. My goodness, it was quite a lot at a makeup department somewhere. And I'm just going to try to brush it on, just to see where I can end up with this. Well, you know what? I could actually paint her blue, couldn't I? And just... It's still a bit hot. Yeah, actually, I did heat up with the embossing one. I'll heat too. And the wax smells really nicely, I must say. It's a lovely scent to it. This one, I mean, if I'm comparing this resin bit to, let's say, a paper clay mold piece thingy, this one feels a bit more sturdy. You know what? I'm not happy with this brush. I got a lot of these brushes because I wanted to see if they were good enough for the waxes, but I can't really say that I fancy them that much. Because I had tried things out with a sort of a rouge brush of sorts. I just had something lying around and I thought that I could buy these just to see if they work. But I don't really get the feel of this. So the next step is going to be, you know, I just can't have this like this. I just have to get rid of it. So let's see if I can clean up my hands well enough. You know what? That works rather well, I must say. So let's see if I can get a better feel with this brush. Just to take a little, because I don't want to cover this one completely now again, because I just want to highlight some bits and pieces here. So there is a difference in between brushes, I must say. So now I've got something like this here. I'm going to keep this one, aren't I? Like so. And let's see, I'm going to take a star and I'll feel sort of gooey. Have they cured properly? Let's see. Perhaps I've miscalculated, or perhaps I haven't. Perhaps it's just that the mold feels a bit different from the other one. The other one felt a little bit more sturdy. This one isn't as hard as this one is. So I'm thinking that I haven't let this cure properly. So I'm just going to need to leave them to dry, I suppose. I mean, this one is flexible and everything. And perhaps that's a good thing, because if you want to, you can actually just mold it around something in this way. So that's a nice idea, of course, if you want to. And it feels a little bit sticky, so it has a sort of gluey effect to it. But let's see if I can take these out anyway. Here's the moon. But these have definitely not cured properly. They have taken their shape, but they aren't hard and stiff. it's looking rather fancy. So I think I'll just leave these in the mould as it is, and finish off with this. So I have this one and I have this. Perhaps I could do a bit of brushing onto that one as well. And let's see, was it this one I had? If I'm going to go with the mint green, just to see. I mean, it's a completely different experience. This one goes on so much lighter with this brush. So I must say that I struggled a bit. I made a video trying to mimic another video that I had made, and I was really struggling because I didn't get the color on in this soft, nice fashion as I'm getting with this brush. So it's a much nicer way to work with this brush. So what you could do, of course, is try to clean it up in between layers. And I think it's a good idea to have something with some texture on. So perhaps an old towel like this could do the trick. And you can see that this wax goes a long way because there's a lot of wax left there. So I think I'll just try to... No. I'm just going to take a little, just to see what happens. If it picks up anything. It's getting on really softly. So you really need to find your perfect brush for this method, so you're happy with it. So there's a difference in brushes, I must say. There isn't that much now, I know, but I just wanted to keep it sort of soft this time. So, I think I'll just finish things off as they are right now. I'm going to let this one sit there for a bit longer so you can get to these hard bits. So, thank you for your patience. I hope you did find resin and moulds a bit interesting together with the waxes. But my final tip, just make sure you get your hands on really nice brushes, because then it's going to be easy peasy colouring them. Okay, bye bye.